Today is February 13th. This is a 9-question review of 5 different chapters you've studied so far this year. The first question gives you -1/2 plus 3/5. Of course, in grade 7 you learned how to add fractions by finding common denominators. The only difference is because this is negative, my equivalent fraction will also be negative. And then when we have this, we're going to have -5 plus 6 over 10, which is -1/10, or +1/10, excuse me, +1/10. Your second question gives you integer or exponents. First one says 4 to the exponent of 0. Any base to the exponent of 0 is 1. Plus, remember, this does not equal this. All right, so this right here, if I was to say what's -2 times -2, it's +4. And the other one means the opposite of 2 squared. So the answer for this is -4. And any 1 to the exponent of anything is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. 1 plus -4 is -3. And -3 plus 1 is -2. Question 3 is your fraction question. 1/2 cubed means 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Or you can attach the exponent of 3 to both the numerator and denominator, which will give you 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 2 to the 2 cubed, or 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And this will be 1/9, because 1/3 times 1/3, or 1/3. You can apply the 2 to both parts, which is 1/9. Your common denominator will be 72. 9 70-seconds plus 8 70-seconds is 17 70-seconds, which is your answer. Your next question gives you 2 different square roots. First of all, the square root of 4/100ths plus the square root of 7 1/9. So without a calculator, what you're asked to do is really think about each of them as fractions. So 4/100ths is this. And if it's a mixed fraction, think of it as an improper fraction, which will be this. Once you have it written like this, what fraction times itself is 4/100ths? The answer is 2/10. So therefore we have, we can keep it as a fraction, 2/10. Plus, what fraction times itself is 64/9? The answer will be 8/3. Like that. Once we have it written as fractions, you can find your common denominator. This will be 6/30ths plus 80/30ths, which is 86/30ths, which is 2, and 26/30ths. Remember, if the question had fractions to start, you should maintain fractions throughout the solution. Don't change it over to decimals. Keep it as fractions. Next question is your subtraction of polynomials. Obviously, when we do this, the easier way to do it is to change each of the terms in the second polynomial to its opposite. Gather like terms. -2x squared. 5x and 4x is +9x. And -1 and -3 is -4. So our solution is this trinomial of -2x squared plus 9x minus 4. Our next question is the multiplication of a trinomial by a monomial, and in order to do this, we need to utilize distributive property. -2x times -2x squared is the same thing as -2 times x times -2 times x times x, or 4x cubed. Obviously, you don't do it that every time, but the next one is -2x times -3x, which is a positive 6x squared. And -2x multiplied by 2 is -4x. You cannot gather like terms beyond there, because in order for you to add or subtract terms, they need to have the same variable and the same exponent, neither of which those 3 terms do. The next question is algebra. That says 1/3 of 2x plus 1 is equal to -6. Multiply both sides by 3. Instead of 1/3 of 2x plus 1, you have 2x plus 1 equals -18. 2x equals negative 19, and x equals negative 9.5, or 9.5. Either one. Your next question is variables on both sides, and when you have variables on both sides, the first step is to get rid of it on the side that has the least amount, leaving you with x minus 2 equals 7. Add 2 to both sides, and x will equal 9. And your last question, when you are given questions where you're isolating for x in fractions, the easiest thing to do is to multiply both sides by a common multiple of the denominators. In this case, multiplying both sides by 6. Half of x multiplied by 6 is 3x. Negative third multiplied by 6 is negative 2. And 5/6 multiplied by 6 is 5. Once you have that, isolate the variable, add 2. 3x equals 7. And x equals 2 and a third.